Stampin', Sharon. I am bringing you a very elegant birthday card today. It's for the fall. I have a big family and I'm always looking for different ideas to make some beautiful cards and then come share them with you. After 23 years as a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I love teaching and I love inspiring you. If you currently do not have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I'd be honored to help you with your Stampin' Up supply needs. You can find out how to contact me, sign up for my newsletter, my blog, all that good stuff in the Read More button below the video. Just click that button while you're there. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, I'd be thrilled if you did that. Just hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification bell. You'll be notified every time I upload a video or I go live on YouTube, which I've been doing a lot lately. So I hope you'll join me one day. Let's get to stamping. I sure hope that you can see the elegance of this card. I use my beloved copper and I use the Gilded Autumn Specialty Designer Series papers. I've been looking at this pattern for a while and I'm like, I just don't know what to do with it. And then when I was making a birthday card from one of my daughter-in-laws, I was like, oh, she would love this. And so this is what I came up with. I'm gonna go through everything I'm using first. First of all, there's a stamp set that I think gets overlooked in the catalog. It's called Here's a Card. So many great things to stamp on the inside as well as on the outside. I am using the detailed banded dies because they're elegant. What can I say? And I have a great tip to use this die for, so make sure you watch that. I'm going to be doing some embossing with my gold emboss powder. So I have a Versamark pad and my gold powder. So let's go through all of my paper and measurements. My card base is very vanilla thick and it measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored and folded at 5 1/2. I have another piece of very vanilla thick that measures 4 inches by 10 3/4. And I have scored it at 2 1/2 and at 5. Easy to remember, right? I have my layers and my copper is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then my designer series paper is 3 3/4 by 5. I am not going to waste all of that copper. I have another set that is, my copper is 2 1/4 by 4. And then my designer series paper is 2 inches by 3 3/4. I have an extra scrap of copper. You'll understand why. And I have a scrap of very vanilla. I'm going to be doing some die cutting. So I have my number 1 plate, which is my platform. My number 2, because I need that for my dies. One of the number 3s, and then I'll use the second number 3. I'm going to put my copper on here. And I don't want to waste all of that. So I figured if I laid this piece at an angle, let me get my card. That's for this banner right here. If I lay this at an angle, then I can take advantage of a lot of that space in there. This is a very detailed die, and I love using wax paper from the kitchen. And I'm just gonna place that on there. The wax paper will help that release those delicate areas so I don't tear anything. So now I'm going to put my plate. It will also protect my copper from being marred by the die cuts that are in my top plate. And I'm going to run it back through a second time just to make sure everything got cut. I saved this piece and put it back in. I really tried hard to use this piece from my other part of the card, but it just was gonna cut. So that's why I have a scrap of copper. Again, with the wax paper. You know, this little die cutting machine is $120. But if you've ever thought, I should sign up and get the discount as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you would only pay $99 and get this machine. Brilliant. You can shop for up to $125 and only spend $99 plus sales tax. Just think about it. I'm using the Take Your Pick tool to help me get all these little bits out. This little tool has these two ends and then the actual picker-upper part, whatever you call that part. So you'll want to use your Take Your Pick tool, the little pokey end, and kind of poke through those holes. But I wanted y'all to see how the wax paper has been cut very pretty. There we go. It just helps it come out so much easier. And no, I'm not doing anything with that. Don't ask. Okay, so we have that cut out. We have all of our pieces cut out. So now let's start assembly. So we have our 4 1/4 by 11. And then we're going to get our liquid glue. It kind of helps to just fold this up. And we're going to center this right here. So we're just centering that on our card base. Give it a good back rub. Rub off any other adhesive that might have gotten picked up from your work surface. Just saying. Okay, so now we're going to add our copper, and it's going to go right here. And we're going to add this now because we don't want any adhesive. Like, we're going to assemble these two layers. I don't want any glue everywhere. And since we're adding it to the card anyway, I could have pulled out my silicone mat, but who needs to? Now we're just going to add our designer series paper, and I kind of look at it, which way are the leaves going, everything going the right way before I actually place it down. I forgot to tell you something else that would help you with your copper. Those of you who have watched me before, and I'll just show you on this piece right here, there is a plastic backing on the copper. If you will take a paper piercer or something like that, you can start at the corner. So once you get that lifted, you can start to peel it away. And I mean, look how plasticky it is. So you can really see the plastic right here. See that plastic? It just helps when you're cutting those intricate dies like this. I just forgot to tell you. I did it and then forgot to tell you. You know, that's how it is when you make videos. All right, so now we're going to add this piece. I think I told y'all that this piece was 4 inches. This is 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. You know, I write them down. I'll just show you. I do write down measurements, but sometimes my head just doesn't communicate with my eyes or something. I don't know. So now I'm going to add my copper to the bottom. Oh, and that reminds me, can you see the lines of that copper? For some reason, the copper does that. So we want to really smush those lines down so that you don't see them. There we go. Everything's all squished. Okay, we're going to add this to the bottom of our card. You really want to be careful. I do have some glue on my hand, so you want to be careful and try not to get the glue on the foil. We're going to add our designer series paper. So pretty. Isn't that pretty? Once again. So I was going to show you a great tip. So now I'm going to have to show it to you a different way. Remember I said I had a piece of scrap paper. My scrap paper is actually 3 3/4 wide. So I was going to use my designer series paper to show this to you. So I'm just going to move this over. I'm going to center this here. I'm going to pick it up. Just grab my snips and cut it to size. Same thing with this piece. Center it in the middle. So see, I'm showing you my mistake in case you do the same thing at home. Now you have a way to fix it. There you go. Y'all know I call myself the queen of boo-boo sometimes. I'm gonna bring in my silicone mat and some glue and a sponge. We're going to add this to the bottom. And then we're going to do the same thing to this piece. Notice how I'm turning. I do not want to set this back down where my adhesive is because I don't want it to get on my copper. And now we're going to add this to the top. Oh, I just love it. I just love it. I'm going to take my other silicone mat and really press that down. And remember, I told you I keep this piece because I want to put it back in. You know, it's our card. We can do what we want, right? I need a little bit more adhesive. You know, I hope I inspire you. Use the things you have at home, but if you ever need anything, I'd be happy to help you. You can find my store and how to contact me, like I said, in the link below. You know, sometimes you may just have a question about a product or something like that. Okay, we're looking good. So now we're ready for our sentiment. I'm going to use Versamark ink, and I still have my embossing buddy, which is my preferred way to get the static out, but you can also use dryer sheets. And as I was making the video, someone asked me, how long does this last? I figured out that they do not last very long because when I went to go do it and I stamped my card, I stamped my sentiment, and then I poured the emboss powder, it still had a lot of static. So I'm going to try like storing these maybe in a Ziploc. Maybe that'll help. Oh, yeah, we need to stamp. Sorry, got to talking. So just have a piece of very vanilla scrap. Putting our lid back on. And then we're going to pour our gold emboss powder. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell the embossing buddy anymore, but you can find them on Amazon, a craft store, things like that. I wish we still sold it because I love it. So now we're ready to emboss. I cut out my sentiment, and notice I use gold for that because I use the copper, and the gold and copper leaves and acorns, it just went perfect. So I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. I figured since you'd already met my little Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you didn't need to meet it again. I'll just cut it out real quick. Besides, I gotta hurry. My husband's coming home from the store and he's gonna come in and mess up this video. So there you go. Okay, I'm just being honest, So now I'm gonna place this right here and we have our elegant happy birthday card. What do you think? Do you think she's gonna love it? I bet she does. She just started stamping, so I'm super happy. I hope that you guys are inspired and I hope that you will try to make one of these fun folds. And happy stamping, y'all!